Have you ever felt like you're right there, but there's something holding you back? Like you feel it in your bones? This video is for women that are in that space. The woman that knows there's something more, but fear keeps whispering, what if you're not ready? And what if you're not right? I'm Steph. I am a retreat leader. I have a podcast. I'm a portrait photographer, and I help women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond remember who they are. If you're standing on the edge of a dream, a new relationship, a big change in your life, a whole new version of you, let's talk about what to do when you feel like that next change is going to shift everything. First off, we don't give ourselves enough credit for making it to the edge. I mean, seriously, think about everything that has gotten you to this point and how strong and how brave and how smart and how beautiful you really are. I remember when I knew that there was a big shift coming in my life and that I couldn't live in this autopilot, checking the boxes, making sure everything looked good on the outside kind of life anymore. I was successful on paper, but I felt like I was dying on the inside. And what I wish I could go back and tell myself is that edge, that moment of the big leap is like the most sacred time in your life, and there's nothing to be afraid of. So here's the story. I was driving down the interstate and I had just come from some sort of body work session, whether it wasn't quite massage, but it wasn't really Reiki energy work either, somewhere in between. And I had this big trip planned for a whole month in Santa Barbara, where I was hoping to start my business there and kind of flip flopping from Wisconsin to California for my photography business. And I had this moment of realization that by me going to Santa Barbara, that my whole life was going to shift, that I knew my relationship was going to fall apart. I knew that the life that I had made happen through blood, sweat, and tears was falling through my fingertips. And I was so scared. I was crying. I was begging the universe to just let me stay small because small was all I knew. And I knew this big change was happening. And it felt like I was in a free fall. And I just wanted somebody somewhere to tell me that it's all going to be okay. This is my message for you, that it's all going to be okay. When you start feeling fear in your life, you can just use that as a lesson in life. Fear just means that you are being stretched beyond your capacity to know what's happening, and your brain clicks on into this fight or flight mode, and all it wants to do is to keep you safe. We can use that as a tool. And how we use it as a tool is to start questioning it. What is it that I'm afraid of? How have I overcome something similar in the past? How have others overcome things in the past? When I was going through this transformation period, I found a lot of healing presence in books by Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou, how she was able to write what she was going through in her life and how she was able to move confidently through different huge transitions through her life and overcome trauma and overcome pain. To me, that gave me a lot of hope that I too could overcome trauma and pain and that I could come out on the other side of this. So find the things or the people that have gone through something similar and read about them. You can't just block the fear. You have to move through the fear. And that's the most important piece. The other part of fear is that the closer you get to this finish line, the closer you get to this huge transformation in your life, the louder it gets. And the more scarier the fear becomes. All of a sudden, it almost feels like life or death. Because if we let that fear just build and build and we don't transform it, then it just becomes this huge tower, this huge castle, and it blocks the light in from coming in. and we find ourselves in this shadowy, dark area. When you find yourself in that shadowy, dark area, just remember that you're really close. You're really close to breaking through to this next step because you are being stretched beyond what you've already known to be true, and you're being pulled into this new direction. So remember that fear just gets louder the closer that you get to overcoming. I also, when I was going when I was going through this huge transformation, I felt that I was being irresponsible and I was being reckless to the people that I love the most. And that was the hardest thing to get over. That feeling that I'm letting people down by following my own dream and following my own heart and my own purpose. That again is just fear. And all it's trying to do is keep you small. So if you are feeling that if you're in a relationship that no longer serves you, that you are ruining your kids' lives or somebody else's kids' lives, or somebody's going to be mad at you, just remember that that's fear. And when we go through big changes and we go through big transformations in our lives, we become our most authentic selves. And there is no greater gift that you can give somebody that you love than by being your truest, authentic self. You cannot fake your way through life by checking boxes and thinking that eventually things will get better if you just stay the course. Nothing can be farther from the truth. There is no course. The course is expansion. The course is your ability to see your true self, to feel happiness and to feel joy. That's the true course. So if you are just grinding it out every day, thinking that it's going to get better, if you just give it more time, it's not. It's not going to get better. The only thing to do is to change who you are and to start living the life that you deserve. And the last thing I want to leave you with is that there is no right or wrong. There is no fast or slow. That you get to take your life at your own pace and do the things that make you the happiest at your own leisure. If you are rushing through this big transformation in your life and you just want to get it over with, take a pause and realize that there is no getting over this. This is your life. There's no right or wrong. There's no, you're too late, you're too early. You just have to do you. And as long as you're taking these little tiny steps towards your happiness, towards your transformation, towards the alignment of your soul, then you're doing a great job. It's just when we think that we have to wait for somebody else to change, or we have to wait for a circumstance to change, that's when we get stuck in fear and complacency. That's where we get stuck in the fear and we get stuck in the goo. It's only when we're allowing other circumstances to dictate our lives. There's no good time, there's no bad time, there's just this time. And so when you finally say yes, just know that you're not going to have all the answers right away. The answers will come, and chances are that the stories that you've been telling yourself or the hard things you've gone through before are only going to serve as little lessons that you've already taken into account. What I mean by that is the times that you've reached through the fear to the other side. Remember those times. What have you learned from those times? Think about how amazing you are and how amazing it is to be in this moment. There's no right or wrong. If you're standing on the edge right now, I see you. You don't have to take this leap alone. I would love to hear your comments. What are you on the edge of right now, and how can we help you through it?